how's it going?
Hello, welcome everybody. Hi Kushti, how you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm hanging in there, still nursing off whatever I had a couple weeks ago, but maybe someday it'll get rid of it. Crazy, so it's lasted this long. You managed to not stay sick this winter?
Sorry?
You managed to keep from getting sick this winter, Kushti?
Yeah. So, still, I'm totally fine. And
Nice.
he even have a lot of power uh, during the winter. So, how's about your Sigmanaut power?
Sigmanauts power. It's been slow burn this semester. I guess this start of the quarter. I've been doing a lot of focusing outside of that on my Cornell stuff. So what's today? Today's Thursday, so we didn't have the show. Yeah, so we had the show last week, and I got some good ideas on how to help that brick economy get going. And the idea was that people were seeing our show and they're like, hey, why does this blockchain recycling have to stop after the show is over? And I was like, well, it doesn't. I said we could set this up upstairs in our IT place. And then another idea came that what could facilitate more value pointed towards bricks, Cornell brick. And the idea is, okay, we can blend the two. So instead of students throwing out their massive amounts of paper after they're done critiquing, we're talking 4 or 5 huge, like 42 by 60 inch printouts, we can have a large bin in our area, and every time a student brings one of those plots to recycle after they're done with it, we can hand them off like 10 brick or 5 brick or 15 brick. So this will not only encourage students to bring their plots back and actually recycle them instead of throwing them in the garbage or letting them fall on the floor and the custodial staff takes care of them in the garbage, but it'll also put an even bigger system of value in place for the brick in that it's a reward token for recycling your plot, which you can then use after probably, we're thinking maybe every 6 or 7 plots recycled, you'll generate enough brick to print another plot for free. So there's incentive for kids to actually recycle them and get that brick in turn for value to then put it back into the system and plot with it. So that's our next step in doing that. I've been thoroughly testing my system setup, and it's been running well for me, printing from it with blockchain payments. So that part's ready to go. So once we get that bin set up, we'll start that and get going. It's going to be interesting. A lot of kids were excited, so we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually quite amazing. I thought actually, I've been thinking. Actually, well, for many years about creating monetary systems where money created, when people recycling wastes, doing positive things like trees planting, reforestation, stuff like that. It could be more useful than those carbon credits, right? Carbon. Yeah, there are 2 tokens, so carbon credits and there is also debit token, I believe, carbon credits. So from what I know about that system, so yeah, it's usually not about carbon at all in the real world, right? So usually those credits are being used to cover many holes. Different agencies like UN agencies have, in general, from what I know, that system is not working well, right? But yeah, it's possible to design, I believe, systems in bottom-up fashion, which will work better, right? And then it's a brick way to emit new money, right? When students are bringing plots to be reused. So yeah, it's quite exciting actually experiment.
Exactly. Try to create some sort of local incentive that really has a direct effect on the students. And I mean, honestly, these students may somewhat care about recycling, but they don't have time for it. It's not at the top of their mind. But if you provide some sort of incentive directly to them where the effort is low too, they simply have to just walk 50 feet over to our office and dump a plot in a bin, and then we tip them the brick. I mean, that's going to be some very simple incentive to do this kind of stuff. So yeah, super excited about that. We'll see how they respond to that. My guess is Cornell is like many Ivy schools. There's a lot of cash tuition students, I imagine. So you'll have a mix of students who just don't give a crap, and then you'll have a mix of students who will be like, "You don't care? Give me your plot. I'll recycle it for you." And they take the brick out of it. So I think you'll see a lot of that. So you'll get this active cleanup of people who want free plots walking around the 350 student studio plate and being like, "Hey, are you done with that? Can I recycle that?" That kind of thing. So it'll be an interesting economy there. I'm really interested to see how it's going to play out. And then they were also talking about, what if I leave, or what if I no longer have to do plots this semester, or what if there's no value in the token that's valuable to me? And then the kids were like, "Oh, you can buy, I'll give you give me your tokens, and I'll buy you some coffee, or I'll buy you lunch at the restaurant downstairs," or that kind of thing. So those are neat swaps that could be happening too.
That's quite amazing, right? So, comparing with other ways to emit new money we have in the crypto space. For example, airdrops, right? So usually, airdrops is when you're just rewarding people for creating accounts, right, in social media. And you are basically incentivizing spam, right? So creating spam accounts in Facebook, social media to get more airdrop tokens. But here you have some real and positive way, right? And it's still based on trusted party like in airdrop, but at least distribution is has some anti-Sybil mechanism, and also bringing positive impact in return, right? Like waste reusing. That's actually quite awesome. And have you announced the community chat we will have?
No, let me do that today. Why don't you announce it in person right here, and then we'll announce it on Twitter later.
Yeah, but so what's the time? Is it 3 or 4 p.m.? I proposed both times. Anything? Let's find out.
Let's pick one. That's UTC you proposed?
Yeah. So 4 p.m. UTC, maybe.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that works.
All right. So next Tuesday, it will be February 4th. Yeah. So let's meet our community town hall and discuss different monetary innovation aspects we have in the Ergo core protocol and the ecosystem. And not just DMs, but maybe things like breaks would be good to get more insights on that actually. But we will also discuss demo rush for sure. Then algorithmic monetary policies. Emission reduction and possible effects, right? So if we are talking about the native cryptocurrency, then we can discuss custom emission contracts, FIMO, miners' rights protocol. So all those things.
Talk a little bit about. We can talk a little bit about the storage rent too. Let's bring that to the front of the picture too, because I think as of now, it's still just Sig's pool doing it, and a few independent devs doing some sniping as well. So it'd be nice to get that spread out, that word spread out more. I'll invite the DX pool guys, have them announce it in their channel, as well as others.
Recently, Six collected some good amounts, right, of ERCs, like 14 for fucking
Yeah.
Ergo.
There's I didn't see that one, but yeah, there's been times where we've had 2 or 3 ergs in one shot in the storage rent pool. It's pretty impressive. 5, I think, was the one that I noticed a couple weeks ago. But yeah, super cool, super impressive that happens. You just, it's just. I don't think people realize, because we're on Ergo, how amazing that is. But if you get somebody on another chain, I bet, well, that's tough too. Because Bitcoin maxis are like, oh, it's great that coins are lost, right? They're like, that's beneficial to the system. So it is a little tough sell to those guys, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah, but there are some heated talks in the Bitcoin community as well, right? So would be good to get Bitcoiners joining discussions as well. And yeah, so some good tokens got storage rented recently as well. I've seen that one of the earliest Elamite series NFTs got collected and then burned, something like that. So there was some interesting story. I don't know, maybe accidentally burnt. So, well, that's also an interesting question, right? So what are the burning practices in storage renting? Yeah, actually, it's quite interesting because, every party which is collecting, so SIGs and those individual snipers, so that they can use different strategies, right? That's quite funny.
So briefly chat on that, Kushti. So there was an early conception, an early idea that miners were the only ones that are allowed to recreate boxes, right? But but you had mentioned in an AMA at one point that that's not entirely true at this point anymore, and now anybody can try to include the transaction in a block. It's up to the node to include, or the miners to include it or not, but anybody can take any of the storage rent if they get their transaction picked up in the block. Is that true?
Oh, it's actually how it was designed since day one, right? So, no need to log to miner's pub key or whatever. Because miners always can reshuffle transactions, right? So if some sniper dev is collecting storage rent, so supposedly if miners are not lazy, they will just throw away such transactions from the block, right, and replace with own storage rent collecting transactions.
Right. So
it's in the some theory, right, where miners are behaving rationally, right, so maximizing their profits. And what we have in practice, so miners are a little bit weird, right, mostly. So they're not maximizing their profits even, which is quite counterintuitive.
Right. So this storage rent was kind of designed in mind that once it was able to be active, you'll get the pools to pick it up. But we're kind of in a limbo state right now where not all the pools are picking it up yet, and devs have the ability, or anybody that can write that code has the ability to snipe themselves the storage rent if they want to. But in an ideal scenario, and I imagine how you designed it was that once every pool is on storage rent, the dev snipers don't matter because the mining pools will just replace those sniper TXs with their own TXs to claim storage rent on the blocks they find.
Right, and eventually we will get to that state, right? So
it's interesting transition stage, though.
Yeah, so when emission would be low, like 3 Ergo block, right? So there will be a lot of incentive, right, to collect storage rent. So not to be lazy about additional source of income.
But speaking of storage rent,
did you just say transaction?
Yeah, we also said lazy.
Yeah, you didn't say transaction. Miner. You said transaction. What's a transaction, QX?
It's a new term. It's a quantum-based transaction in Kushti's head.
Yeah.
No, Kushti didn't say. You said it.
I said it. I can't speak. Yeah. I've got like a pound of whatever on my face. I can't speak at all.
You got a pound of New York.
I got a pound of New York. Well, speaking of storage rent, Kushti, there's $20,000 worth of liquidity in the Ergo PHP token that was picked up by storage rent. The first big pull for the whole PHP token. So 20 grand of liquidity. I think that's pretty damn amazing.
Right. So basically, 20k USD.
7,000 Ergo.
Worth of value. Now we have, because of, basically digital waste recycling, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's quite funny. I mean, that's the whole new dimension.
It is
in the blockchain. In the understanding of blockchain economic protocols, maybe. Right. So when you can get new value from recycling digital waste, basically on the blockchain, that's very funny, actually.
I mean, it's unheard of, right? Only on Ergo. Really cool.
Yeah. So actually, it's quite strange, even, right? So Ergo was launched back in 2019, and still it's the only blockchain with demo rush, right? With generic Sigma protocols language, right? So ability to create cryptographic protocols as applications, right? Variety of cryptographic protocols and so on. So yeah, it's even strange that no one is copying that, but maybe because the time is a bit different now. It's not 2015 anymore. So people are just those days doing somewhat, I don't know, new BFT protocols, and then trying to present them as proof of stake, like, I don't know, Cardano's, proof of stake. So like no normal proof of stake, but yeah, actually it's just BFT under the hood. So more centralized consensus protocol, obviously. And then they just have EVM on top of. So it's now about like 100 chains, which are pretty indistinguishable to me. So what's wearing there is a set of venture capital funds backing those protocols, and that's the most differentiating part usually those days. So talking about miners, then how lithium miners are doing?
Different kind of miners.
Any news from your side, from real world mining?
Yeah. So our partners, the ones that we're building the lithium index with, one of them is actually, I guess in whatever it's called, the circle, right? So the circle to be picked as the mining secretary for Argentina. So there's just like with all appointments, there's several leading candidates, and then one of them gets appointed. So he's a leading candidate to be appointed to the mining secretary of Argentina. So we're definitely gonna be into mining, like big time.
Big miners.
Yeah, and so we're actually connecting with other lithium pricing source providers, because we're trying to build out an Oracle network to supply all these different prices for the lithium index. So we're making connections to other mining organizations and companies and widening out our network. So we're quite a lot of mining happening in the literal sense. And and actually, I was telling QX that so our biz dev lead in Buenos Aires is Iris. IDES. Like my Argentinian friends, they keep telling me how to say it right, and I always just like I always Americanize it too much. So he's an Ergo fan, and so one of our partners from Buenos Aires, is they run an on-chain payment network, and of course, legacy and on-chain payment network. And these guys have, and I think I told you QX about this. I'm pretty sure I did. In fact, I'm positive I did. They got a huge mining farm for Bitcoin, and so they wanted to actually know, what can be done with Ergo if they were going to turn that on to Ergo. But the problem is that the bulk of it is ASIC.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the problem. They have some video card, just strictly video card based miners, but the bulk of it is ASIC. So we're trying to figure it out. We're going to see what can be done with the ones that are not ASICs, which could still help secure the network. But it would be really nice if we could turn on the bulk of these things. But the bulk of these things, yeah, unfortunately, are ASICs. But we'll see what we can do. So
they can always sell them for GPUs, Dan.
I'll let them know that. Yeah, I know.
Just take like a 30% hit, no big deal.
They got like some insane amount of hash rate happening with all those ASICs. Like it's
ton.
Told me, I was like, holy shit. I mean, it's one of the largest ones in Argentina, I think.
Do they have hydro nearby?
Well, so like you mean like hydroelectric?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, there's quite a bit of hydroelectric in Argentina. In fact, I think that there are. I've heard. I haven't actually seen them, but I've heard that there are hydropowered miners in Argentina for Bitcoin. So I'm also going to research that to see what we can do for Ergo. There's quite a bit, because Argentina is like very like adaptive now to try to get into the opportunities that they have now, because it just really opened up after decades of corruption, and then just literally, like, I think Milei is literally like the first guy who really kind of opened up Argentina. And so now they're just opening up. They're like, oh, wait, we got all this opportunity now. Okay, so what can we do? And so, of course, the first thing they're doing is jumping into a bunch of Bitcoin stuff. But we will, I'll see what I can do to guide them in the right direction, so to speak. Maybe we'll send QX out there in his poncho, and they'll think he's...
No, that's perfect. Lucy and I can go down, and I'll wear my poncho. She can wear her poncho.
The thing about Argentina, I know it's kind of a duh, but like, you go to Argentina and it's big on the map, but you don't realize how big it is. It's freaking big, man. There's a lot of Argentina. Like, I took so many plane rides to all these different provinces. And actually, I think actually in Cordoba there could be some hydroelectric opportunities. Also, I think Paraguay might have something. So we do have some connections there that I can tap into. If you have something in mind for some hydro-powered mining stuff.
Well, for ASICs, we'd have to wait for some sort of side chain, right?
Well, no. I mean, I'm not saying all of them are ASICs. Just this one partner of ours has like a huge amount of ASICs rigs, and so I was trying to, because they were really interested in mining Ergo, but then they gave me their configurations, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Not gonna work here.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. There's going to be something, I mean, and like I said, they're very, very open to opportunity over there. So,
Dan, I saw you repping Ergo with your Ergo sweatshirt on your talk with Charles Hoskinson. How'd that go?
Hoskinson? Who's that?
I don't even know his last name. I don't pay attention to that crap.
Well, I don't know
What's
your
his
last name. Is it like Rubenstein or something? What is it?
How'd you guess? How'd you guess?
Hotchkiss.
There you go. How'd that go? You repped Ergo. You had your nice shirt on that you stole from us.
Yeah. Some weirdo gave me that T-shirt or gave me that sweatshirt, and I kind of like it. So yeah, I thought I'd rep Ergo. I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, this is the Cardano founder, but then I'm like, oh yeah, but he's also an Ergo guy too, so it's cool. And yeah, I just it worked out. But
You're like, do I wear the T-shirt with soy sauce stains on it, or do I wear the Ergo sweatshirt? It was a tough choice, Dan, but I'm really glad.
That is pretty racist. Do you think just because I live in Asia, I will have soy sauce stains on my shirt? That's just, you've been canceled, QX. I just canceled you. Andy, cut his feed. Cut his feed, Andy.
So how was the how was your pre-sale? I saw you down with round 2 as well.
Well, so with Charles, the talk with Charles was really good. We actually mentioned. Oh, thank you. Damn, he's back. Shit. Anyway, yeah. So we actually did rap about Ergo a bit, and so there's it's just very interesting because Charles is kind of into partner chains right now, so he's kind of multi-chain and multi-chain surfing right now. The pre-sale is doing really good. We're in phase 3 now, so phase 1 and 2 is done. Phase 3 is going, and I mean we're like we got everything lined up. Gonna go TG next month. Got some RS Erg that came in through the pre-sale because we our basically you can participate in the pre-sale with RS Erg, ADA, USDM, and that's it, I think. Or maybe there's one more, but anyway. And of course, we got Pyro on our team now. I don't know if you know this or not, but Pyro has joined our team a couple of months ago. So we are now 4 out of 5 actually, because Sam's also an Argonaut. So out of a team of 20 that are Ergo peeps, we got Luca, we got Shashir, and we got and Rob just joined the team as well.
Wait, Rob get block Rob?
No, Rob. I'm going to butcher his name.
Louis Vatra.
Yeah.
You stole Louis Vatra?
Yeah, he's mine now.
Gosh,
get him back. You done. Louis Vatra.
There goes Padilla.
Yeah.
Kushni, we're gonna have to hire somebody for Padilla.
Has succumbed to the clutches of Zengate.
Great.
He's working with us now as well. So we got Louis Vatra, we got me, Sam, Shashir, Luca, Pyro. So it's like the Ergo All Stars. I mean, Alex is advising us. The only one that's left out with no chair when the music stops is you, QX. What's up?
I figured that was intentional, Dan. I figured it was intentional. So I think
that's a feature, not a bug.
Dan, I think it's great that you're, because one of the things you notice at least in the bear market, we notice that, devs need to eat something, right? It's people like MG Pi going to school. They need some sort of sustenance to be able to survive. And the fact that at least Zengate right now can provide, who's part of Ergo, part of Cardano, who can provide these devs with some sort of sustenance so that they can survive on chain and continue to be here is fantastic. It's great.
Look, I mean, I like to have a pool of talent I can pull from. I mean, it's people that I know, people that I can trust, and all these guys. We like it's. For me right now, it would be a pain to go through the entire process. I'd rather actually work with somebody I know. So that's why, I mean, we got, Ergo's got just, oodles of amazing devs and builders in the ecosystem. So that's why we're working with the ecosystem. I mean, It only makes sense. Only makes sense.
Well, Kushti, we didn't hear what's new from you.
A lot of things. But yeah, there was intense chat, the developers chat yesterday, as usually. So yeah, well, sub-blocks implementation is going well. So yeah, I made some API methods even. So now, well, checking how things are progressing well with some API methods. Then yeah, well, all the issues found in 6.0 I fixed. So I'm going for public testnet release. So well, looking. Trying to find who is mining in the testnet. It seems it is you, right? Only if it's you. But yeah, I don't know. There is some miner, but cannot really find it.
I think that's MGPy. I need to my node is up to date, and my mining core is running fine on my server. But I think when I tried to remote into my basement miner, it was choking. So I think I just need to bounce that. But yeah.
So there is no need to mine, right? So there is need to find the current miner, and yeah, so it's one party at the moment, some party, but it's not Michael, it's not MGPy.
Probably, it's not MGPy.
Yeah, it's not you. Then I don't know what would be that. So we need to update the public testnet so to make voting and activation of 6.0. I think it's quite ready, and then yeah, well, final audit, and we are good for mainnet voting and activation. Then yeah, well, pushing DEX developers also, well, it's a little bit hard because, well, it seems that there is no synchronization basically. So trying to get guys in sync, to get UI and mainnet deployment finally done. Well, it's the long story, but yeah, at this point, well, it's well, the only thing I can do is just push, well, front end and back end developers to well, get in sync and deliver, well, the back end and UI. Then what else? So also writing, so participating in some forum discussions, and yeah, in regards with well, real world assets and DAO. Actually, it's well, interesting to have Louis Watra, well, in Zengate, because, well, there is a transmute DAO idea on the forum by some guy.
Well, we're actually setting up a DAO for Palm Economy. That's one of our like pillars for Palm Economy. Is there's going to be a DAO that is basically going to work in a sense like one of the core entities to drive the decentralized business development. So
Right.
we'd use the DAO to vote on proposals like in Catalyst, but hopefully without all the drama, to develop business in different regions.
Yeah, but then there could be also smaller DAOs, like, well, I proposed many months before PyDear launch, and we'll propose again when I will have some time to have gold Oracle pool operators DAO, right? So DAO, which is uniting gold Oracle pool operators with gold related products developers such as Gleon and Dexy, right? So, well, the idea is to have DAO with deciding some things in regards with how to spread reward tokens and so on, right? So, well, currently it's done just in the chat, but yeah, it would be more clear and more transparent to do with the DAO. And the same could be done with lithium Oracle operators and lithium product developers as well, right? So, well, it also would be an interesting option. So to have some smaller DAOs, right, for, well, very concrete and specific niches. Then, yeah, also, well, writing some forum posts, well, with some things, which I'm talking about since like Cardano Summit. So maybe Dan knows if we had such discussions, right? So, well, the idea is how to have a unified vision, right, about the Ergo ecosystem is and could be, right, in future. So, well, how to combine, DeFi we have and real world assets, and then different peer-to-peer cash constructions, things like chain cash and so on, right? So to have some ecosystem which is which can be transformative, right, for large scale transformations, and mass adoption. And so we'll visit Hong Kong in February, so we'll see Dan again, right?
Yep.
It seems.
So actually, we got to talk potentially about maybe doing some Zengate Ergo thing over there. We've been talking to a friend, our Bond villain looking friend who's been helping us set up some stuff in Hong Kong. So we got to talk about that offline. Potentially, well, we already talked about it, but we got to see what we can do, because there's going to be quite a few people over there. I think that if we do an event in a kind of a nice place, not too huge, but something where it's going to be just very organic and interesting, I think we can attract some people on there. There's going to be, like I said, there's going to be a lot of usually the Hong Kong events are pretty, like, there's a lot of people. So it could potentially bring some a lot of fresh meat over there. And
there's an IHOP over there, isn't there, Dan?
In Hong Kong, I know there's Anytime Fitness in Hong Kong. That's also how I chart the world, because I got this gym membership that actually it works in several countries, including the U.S. It's a U.S. company that actually operates a pretty large gym network in Japan. So they're really big in Japan, but they're also quite, like, there's quite a few of them in the U.S. and plus some other countries. Was Singapore? There's Anytime Fitness Singapore and other Asian countries, and so I just kind of always chart my stam. Like, I don't feel like looking for a hotel with a gym, because those are more expensive. So I'll just get an Airbnb next to an Anytime Fitness. And the closest IHOP I know is actually in Dubai, I think. Yeah, Dubai is the whenever I'm in Dubai, I always hit up the IHOP over there, so I don't have to go down to the US. But unfortunately, they haven't discovered the wonder of IHOP in Japan. But QX. So when we're there at Rare Evo, you're going to be at Rare Evo, right?
Next year? Was that this year?
This year. This is 2025, the beginning of 2025.
We'll see. We'll talk in the SIGs about it.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just freaking go. Let's go. You owe me at least like 3 trips to IHOP.
I'm sure I do, Dan.
You
maybe
weaseled
10.
out of one in a really nasty way one time, and
that was the first time. That was tough.
That was, first impression is the only impression.
That's true. That's true.
So so you screwed up. But yeah, Alex, let's see if we can do something in Hong Kong. Let's get some new eyes and new faces in the ecosystem.
So actually we had a meetup there back in 2019. So we have some old Ergonauts in the town. Some were active in the chats after. So one guy, Sam, who was a video operator actually at the meetup, and so some other guys, and Yeah, there was one guy. Oh, but yeah, so he's in the town, but he didn't attend that meetup. But yeah, he bought like two bitcoins worth of Erg just few days after the mainnet launch. One guy from one of the biggest VCs actually in the cryptocurrency space. And yeah, well, this time, yeah, I will meet a lot of guys from biggest Asian VCs to check the temperature in the room. It's quite interesting time right now, so well, at least it's worth to check the temperature.
Yeah. Are you going QX, or are you going to stay at home and not do anything again?
It's in Dubai or Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
I'd love to. That'd be amazing. But
Well, and so let's go. Happening next month.
that's tough.
That's not tough. You just buy a plane ticket and go. It's not
Yeah,
tough.
talking about things. So when you will be in Argentina again, then maybe I'll
be there. Yeah, actually, that would be great if you can come along. Late March, early April.
Oh, let's see. But it's really tough. Yeah, especially around that time. Let's see.
Yeah, we're probably going to go right after. So we're going to go to the U.S. for the World Tea Expo, and just myself and Theodore, head of business development, and and then we're going to go to Argentina from there. And before that, I'm going to go to Sri Lanka and lose some weight eating super hot curry.
All right, but actually, so in April, I'm planning to visit Japan actually, but closer to late April, and it will be Miyakojima Islands, and then can visit also Tokyo or
you should come. Yeah, come out to Osaka.
Whatever. Yeah, Osaka, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Miyakojima. Yeah. Miyakojima is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so there will be the financial cryptography conference there this year.
In Miyakojima?
In Miyakojima, yeah. So that's island conference. So, one year they are organizing a conference somewhere around Caribbean, and the other year they're organizing it at some islands in Asia or Europe. So yeah, it was Malta before, and Borneo, and now.
Oh yeah, I remember Malta. That was what, 2016, right?
17. It was April 2017. Yeah, beginning of April, and yeah, it was you. Yeah, there were a lot of people there, right? So Charles, so the whole IHK, I believe. Back then,
that's
Wait. What I'm talking about? I met you there. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you did. So, are you talking about just Miyakojima and Okinawa, or are you talking about the main? Because there's a lot of Miyakojimas.
Oh, so some islands nearby Taiwan, actually.
Oh, that's Okinawa. Yeah. Okay, well that's like that's about an hour by plane from me, an hour and a half by plane from me. So.
All right, so yeah,
can't drive to Okinawa, unfortunately, but it's in April. It's actually probably going to be really nice. April is already nice and warm over there, so I might actually just gonna come and hang out with you over there, and then we can take a ride back to Osaka.
All right.
We got 12 minutes for questions, but before I started those, Kushni, while you guys were talking about Japan, I looked up my testnet miner, and I am the single miner, so good news. You want me to stop it? What's the deal there? We'll connect later.
No. So just mine and wait for instructions.
Just keep on going. Okay, I'll hold tight. That is me. Good. Okay.
Yeah, stop and wait for instructions, QX. Don't be a hero.
Only on Ergo. Only on Ergo can you set something up and forget about it and forget it was you, and then months later it's like, oh yeah, that's me.
All right. So yeah, I will just provide you a 6.0 jar, and you will need to put one value in a config file, and then the rest will be done automatically, like voting and activation.
Perfect.
We will enjoy public testing of 6.0 features in the testnet.
Nice.
All right, so let's jump on the questions.
Let's start. Okay, so here's one. What does Charles think about Rosenbridge? So actually, we had quite a few conversations about Rosenbridge with Charles in the past. Um, he's very interested in it. I mean, it's great tech. Now we haven't really kind of carried those conversations over any further beyond just the initials. But yeah, he had nothing but good to say about it, and he says it's good tech, and it's good that it's an ecosystem. So potentially down the road, we can integrate it a little bit more with what IOG is doing. Maybe do Rosenbridge to midnight, something like that. That would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, so recently I watched you guys video. So you and Charles talked about Rosenbridge, and Charles mentioned that well, Hydra would be beneficial for Rosen. And yeah, well, it's very true, right? So well, by its design, Hydra is most beneficial. So Hydra is high performance layer 2 on Cardano, right? But he also could be ported to Ergo
Right.
without the hassle. And yeah, it's super beneficial for federated protocols like Rosen and Oracle pools, actually, right? So for Oracle pools, you may have just one on-chain transaction in case of Oracle Gold Oracle pool, for example, right? Instead of 20 per epoch, right? So you can reduce on-chain loads by 20x, right? Basically, in optimistic scenario. So most of the time, basically. Like 99.99% of time, right? And yeah, the same about Rosen. So you can greatly reduce blockchain loads, so reduce fees by using Hydra for Rosen. And yeah, that's actually a super good point. So federated protocols such as Rosen and Oracle pools can get a lot of boosts without any reduction in security from Hydra.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We had those good conversations about Hydra. Yeah, it's definitely, and he's actually been talking about Ergo spinning up a Hydra head for quite a while now. So maybe that's something we should look into.
Right, yeah. So sounds beneficial, right? And yeah, especially for federated protocols, and we have a few of them already running.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so what do you guys think about the miner rights protocol?
Oh, QX, are you with us?
I'm here. I'm awake. I'm alive. So miner rights is a protocol. It's something that was developed in the Sigmanauts mining pool by spearheaded by Mark the Shark, and it's like
I see. He's like, hey guys, what do you think about the miners' rights protocol?
No. I have been Sigmanauts mining pool has been running without me for a long time now. Mark the Shark is in full command of this. I don't even mine to it because I'm using my 13090 to mine testnet, Kushti. So I can't even mine to it anymore.
What a loss. Maybe yeah, we need to think. Actually, I'm thinking about rewarding testnet miners at some point by building trustless pegging, right, between Ergo mainnet and Ergo testnet, and then you can bring testnet ergs to the mainnet and establish liquidity pool, and then it could be like a sort of meme coin, maybe, right?
Oh, that would be interesting. I could also see Mark integrating testnet into the mining rates protocol rewards, so that somehow get just in some sort of public database, perhaps entering your mainnet address into the chain, so that it could be read, so that you could also be rewarded on mainnet for with the mining rates protocol by mining testnet. So So yeah, mining rights protocol is like Mark's original idea about, but on steroids. Essentially, it's minting a token to be kind of to designate yourself to a pool, the Sigmanauts pool at this point, and then that gives you mining rights to the pool, which also allows for rewards and bonus tokens and distributions during that mining process. So it's essentially not a commitment protocol, but he's calling it a mining rights protocol. But the PDF is right on the Ergo main webpage. I encourage you guys to read it. It's essentially Mark's imagination, Mark's dream child, and it's going to be pretty damn cool. Imagine. Also, if you go into the weeds, imagine setting permissions and configs via NFTs minting for your mining, instead of going to a website and logging your IP and setting your configs there in case the website goes down. Like, think about HiVos. How cool would HiVos be if you could set your configs for all your rigs in an NFT that you hold in your mining wallet, and then that could read the mining wallet, as opposed to, right, what happened to HiVos 6 months ago? They lost everybody's configs and burn out some people's cards almost. So stuff like that would be really cool, and is possible with the mining rates protocol.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So check it out. It's way more technical than I'm explaining. I'm just giving a high overview. The PDF's right on the website. Just type in Ergo mining rates protocol. It should be the top result.
Yeah, and actually good for miners' privacy, right? Because
exactly, 100%. Yep.
Many miners do care about privacy, actually, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got a couple more questions here. Have Kushti ever tried to play Cyberverse?
We talked about this. It's a no-go. We want Kushti to program. We don't want him to sit and play Cyberverse for 10 hours a day.
That's a no-go. Mr. QX, the party pooper, says it's a no-go.
All right, so maybe this weekend, I will try.
Oh, shoot.
So actually, I need to spend the weekend on doing slides for Hong Kong and doing some more writing. So hopefully, I need to finish something, and then hopefully can open the draft of the Ergo book. I mean the structure. So it's just.
You can be like Elon Musk, and you can pay me to run the Kushti Cyberverse account, and I'll run it for you, and everybody can think it's you.
Don't be QX for anything. He's gonna go out and buy weird ponchos and donuts. All right, let's see. What do we got? Is there a way to find out how many participants are in the SigUSD Oracle pool?
SigUSD Oracle pool, so currently it's just about 4 or 5 Oracle pools, and you can find them on the blockchain actually, right? So by just tracking transaction, and the maximum amount possible now, I believe, is about 12, but only 4 or 5 participating because of lack of incentivization. And that's why, there is a community now, organized about launching version 2 pool, with incentivization, right, in form of token like GORT, but now it will be, I don't know, DORT maybe, dollar Oracle reward token, right? And then lithium token would be Lord. Lithium Oracle. But at Lord, so it's lithium Oracle reward token.
My reward for running Sigma USD Oracle pool is that Kushti talks to me every 2 weeks to remind me to consolidate my wallet because my Oracle stopped reporting. So that's my reward.
Yeah, so that's actually another problem of version 1, which is fixed in version 2, so that there is no dust in version 2, right? Currently we are discussing how to update the version 1, which is also a bit tricky, it seems. But previously we updated few times version 2, and it went smoothly after all, I believe. But it was before Gluon launch, so let's see. So now it will be a bit more complicated, I believe. But yeah, it's better to update because, well, we cannot rely on goodwill in the long term, right? So there is need to have more sounds and incentive compatible protocol. Version 2. And hopefully there will be more people there. So, well, if we are talking about gold pool, so we have maximum number of operators about 20. So yeah, exactly 20 right now, I believe. And online we have currently from 14 to 18, right? So good number actually.
Once again, Oracle version 2 is like bulletproof, at least from tech running it. I mean, I check on it every couple months, Kushti, and I'm like, oh, yep, it's still reporting, still good. It's just like
I'm actually my Oracle is getting issues, but they are coming from CoinGecko, so it seems my IP is blocked by CoinGecko. But yeah, it's probably because, along with Oracle, I'm running also some other scripts which are, fetching data from CoinGecko. So probably, that's too much for them. So my Oracle, often starts only because of CoinGecko not providing data to post on the chain. So I need to do something with that. Let's see.
We got a good question at the bottom, Dan.
Do we know? Is that because it's addressed to you, QX?
No, I think anybody can answer that. Honestly, I don't know why.
Well, it says QX. You answer that.
I think we can all answer that. So the question is, should the community care about full open source when promoting community projects? So that is an interesting thing that I've struggled with, at least from promoting things from the main account, the Sigmanauts cap, and that kind of thing. I think those kind of open source expectations and standards are the baseline of Ergo, because that's the principle that it's made under. But again, Ergo is open source and permissionless, so people can do whatever the heck they want, right? Somebody can come in and build a full open source project, publish the smart contracts, publish the UI so anybody can take it. Great. That's what ErgoDex did, Spectrum, and it's been very helpful because other projects have picked it up and used it. But that being said, it's everybody's right to come in and do what they need to do. And I think the important distinction here is, as long as it's known and the expectations are known, then it is what it is. And the disadvantage, now let's take Mu Finance. We love Mu Finance, right? All their smart contracts are on-chain open source, right? You can see what they are. You can see what they're made of. They choose to keep some of their UI closed source, right? They don't publish it. So what happens in a year, let's say, if another project comes along and is like, I'm going to do what Mu does, but I'm going to completely open source it. The UI is going to be open source. You can run it on your own desktop and that kind of thing. Well, Mu's got a decision to make at that point. If the community in Ergo says, that's what I want to do, and now I'm going to support Mu open source, clone kind of thing, then Mu has they need to figure out their business model and figure out, hey, is it worth it now to become open source? I think at least now the incentives, with how I'd say tight-knit the Ergo community is and how close we are to our roots of open source and collective kind of programming, I think it's the consensus here is still that open source and transparency is king. So, yeah, that's essentially, if that was an answer to you. I mean, it's permissionless, so the community decides, and if they want to use it, they use it. But as long as we continue to remain transparent about what we're using and how we're using and where that data goes. The moment it doesn't is the moment you'll hear me, write on chat that, oh, this DApp does this, and guys, I'd watch for it, kind of thing.
Well, the thing about open source, as far as if you look at it from a business perspective, two really great things come to mind. So number one, if something is open source, then you have a community to do a lot of this, a lot of the different variations of work that you would normally have to pay a large staff to do. And that's the whole point about open source. You just say put something out as open source, somebody takes it and makes, like changes it around a little bit, makes something else out of it. Somebody else makes something else out of it, and so on and so forth. And if you're working with closed source, well, then you have to hire people to do that if you want to try out different things with your code. Now, of course, there's that obvious risk that the community will pick up and do things that you don't really care about with the code, and it's not going to do what you wanted to see it do. But then again, it's a trade-off. On the other side, another big value add is actually auditing. And so if you create open source and you have it available to the community will audit it because they use it. And that, there's vulnerabilities in it. There's something that's broken in it. They will find it and they will point it out.
Yeah, look at the first version of HODL coin, right? That saved a lot of asses right there because it was open source.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. Yeah, it's just basically a way to really, it's a decentralized way to reduce your centralized attack vector or trouble vector of having a problem that nobody really notices because nobody's really looking at it except for you or your team, and you guys are just concentrating on something else now. So to me, those and like I said, I know that's a very cut and dry way of looking at it, but I think it's important because I like to look at these things also as a business person, and for business, open source works for me. And I didn't always think that, I thought that, well, you put all this money into making this, all this effort into making this is intellectual property. Why would I just make it free? I had those thoughts too, but then, like I said, well, yeah, but there's all these other things that need to be done before it can actually be something that's really kind of quote unquote bulletproof. Do I have the resources to do that? Do I have the bandwidth to do that? Well, if I don't, well, then open source is the way. But not just for that, but I'm just saying open source is the way for you to actually be able to scale in a more democratized way. So,
well, on top of that, too, I applaud the people in the community as well because, there was a discussion on this maybe last week or something, and people were not afraid to come out and say, hey, that product is what it is, and I prefer to use open source protocol things, and until it is, I won't use it, kind of thing. And that's great. That's fantastic. So perhaps the project owners will see those comments, and that'll push them the other way as well. But I thought that was a very respectful dialogue and very honest and transparent, and it is what it is. So that's great. We should never hide the fact that something is closed source or, just so people know their expectations. Kushti, what are your thoughts on open source?
Yeah, so, in the first place, I think in the blockchain space, so pace of progress is it doesn't make sense basically to spend resources on protecting anything, right? Well, anyway, it would be used any protocols, right? So it makes sense to copy them maybe in just a few months, right? And then time is gone basically. So whether they will be forgotten or next level protocols will be built on top of, right? So it's crazy how fast time is going here. And then, in regards with business aspects, so there were a lot of talks in let's say, open source community before the blockchains, right? So, well, I've listened to many actually talks about open source business models and so on even before. And somehow people managed to build multi-billion companies, well, even without blockchains and so on, such as MySQL and so on.
I mean, that's
well,
a
lot of
typical
fine.
MO. That's a typical research MO, right? Large corporations fund and seed these universities, who then come out with open protocols that then are built upon by the company that helped fund it as well, and they closed source their own version on top of that kind of thing. But a lot of that base building block structure stuff, I don't mean block structure, but that base level of research and stuff is out there and open, that these companies build their things off of, as you said.
Right. And when we are talking about financial protocols, right? So, well, often I think, basically always it doesn't make sense to use closed source protocols, right? Because, how do you know what they're doing at all, right? So there were some protocols, closed source, which claimed quite fantastic things like multi-sig, with thousands of participants, backed by some fancy, innovative MPC protocol. But then, in reality, it turned out that it was just, a couple of signers under the hood. So,
Classic.
nothing like what was promoted, right? And then, I think, this space is so full with, just absurdic buzz, and hype-ish selling talks, disconnected from reality. That's it doesn't make sense to use closed source products, actually, because you don't know what's inside, right? So it could be very different from what's
right. And I mean,
selling. Right.
And at least, you're speaking deeper financial tools, right? With something like Mew, we're talking about the UI. It's the thing that they hold close to the chest. So while you were talking about it, it brought to my mind the beauty of Ergo, combining open source tools with something like a closed source UI, even though Mew's contracts are open source. I can still see what the hell's going on, right? I can still go to Mew. I can still initiate a transaction. Nautilus pops up, which is open source, and I can see exactly what's going to go through that transaction and push it through. So utilizing those open source tools with a closed source UI, I still have a great idea of what the hell's going on and what's going on with my transaction.
Yeah, so you can still compile contracts from the repository, right, and check addresses, so whether they're corresponding. So I actually did the same for Sigma USD Bank. I compiled contracts, for different purposes of Sigma USD Bank, Ergo Dex, and so on. So they checked.
Good. Cushy, Andy's giving us a hook. He's got a date. We gotta sign off.
Thank Mew both for all these Mew opinions. But I think it's a good place to cut it off, because Andy is not a nice person when he's angry. You won't like him when he's angry.
That's all right.
That's we'll see everybody Tuesday. Stay tuned for a dev update this weekend too.
Tuesday, we'll have a community town hall. So please join and let's discuss different monetary innovations. From recycling plots at Cornell University to recycling digital waste, right? In Ergo. A lot of interesting things.
Yeah, Cornell University, the leader of recycling digital waste.
No, physical there.
Physical as well, yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. And, well, this is Dan from Japan signing off with QX, who's, I think, is a man, and Alex, the man of the Ergo clan. So,
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Ciao.